sunrise. As best she could, she begged the skies for a dad and a mom, a forever home, a world away down on their knees. Jesus, give us eyes to see. If you are leading us to this, then you will make a way for us. And now she's here, from halfway round the world. 'Cause Jesus hears the orphan, he's moving heaven to earth. All for one little girl, I heard Jesus calling. Will you go and rescue her? All for one little girl. Little did you know we were coming. 'Cause Jesus hears the orphan. She's a woman now with grateful eyes, with her husband thanks the skies, a dad and a mom, a forever home, a world away down on their knees. Jesus, help her please. Let's have a little boy again. How his lady of love began, and now he's here, from halfway round the world. 'Cause Jesus hears the orphan, he is moving heaven and earth. All for one little boy, she heard Jesus calling. Will you go and rescue him? All for one little boy. Little did he know that. 'Cause Jesus hears the orphan. Father of adoption, you've adopted me. Father of compassion, here I am. Father of adoption, you've adopted. Father of compassion, here I am. Say, Jesus, here I am. He is moving heaven and earth. For little boys, little girls, we hear Jesus calling. Will you go rescue them? Little boys, little girls, little do they know we are coming. Little do they know Mom and Dad are coming.
You heard my cry. Thank you, Jesus. You heard my cry for help.
All right, everybody. I told everybody this would be a special lifey that I'm going to do, and I brought everybody here. This is my daughter, Mackenzie Taylor Branham. She was murdered on April 27, 2006, at the age of 8 years old. She's buried at Jeffersonville Fairview Cemetery, and I wanted everybody to understand a lot of things about what my daughter means to me. And I want to explain tonight of exactly, I'm going to take everybody through the actual event of everything that happened to my daughter that night, where it happened, the witnesses, where they lived, how close they lived and everything. So that's what I'm here to do tonight. When I'm done here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to drive down to where they took my daughter when they exhumed her, how close she was to where they exhumed her, where they exhumed her at. and then everybody can have their opinions on that. We're going to show some other things as far as how close. There was 3 places that they could have went to and got help without even having to knock on a door to get help. So that's my whole thing tonight. I just wanted people to understand the scene, how it happened at the scene, where she was during the scene, and where the boyfriend was during the scene. And that's what I'm going to do tonight. So that way people will quit asking, you know, questions about certain things over and over. So that's why I did a special one tonight, live feed, so I can show everybody exactly the whole entire scene of where the fire was and everything in Jeffersonville. So if everybody wants to, we're going to get in the vehicle. We're going to go down and we're going to drive and tell you how long it took us to get to where they exhumed her, where they did her exhuming and collected the information and the evidence supposedly that they got, and then why I believe that any defense attorney would say that it's contaminated and it wouldn't be no good in a court of law. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drive out to where she was exhumed and everything else. So that's where we're going to head right now. So you guys can just follow me, and then we'll go from there to the fire scene. All right, we're starting to leave the cemetery right now. It is approximately 6:32. Well, 6:33. So it's 6:33 right now. We're leaving the cemetery where Mackenzie was laid to rest, and this is where they came and re-dug up my daughter to do the exhuming, and we're just going to take that route to the exhuming.
Waiting to see if there was anything. If she does anything else, I'll put her up there.
She usually sends me messages helping.
That's what I'm saying. She's usually cool, so benefit of the doubt until something else happens.
Alright everybody, I want everybody to know, I know Bonnie accidentally hit those smiling faces. I know Bonnie Sims, and she is a big supporter of getting justice for Mackenzie. I see you, sis, Christy. I see you, honey. We're at now 6:35, 2 minutes on the road since we left the cemetery. Actually, I could probably hold the camera and talk. They don't really need to see me yet. When I get to the fire station, you know what I'm saying? Look at there.
Well, look at there. He's got it.
Hey, look at there. Fayette County's finest right there. Right there is Fayette County's finest.
He got a headlight out. Sure looks like it.
Alright, now we're going to turn into, it is 6:37. It took us a total of 4 minutes to come to where they took my daughter to do the exhuming. This is where they brought her to exhume and collect evidence of my daughter. Now, this is the Jeffersonville Fire Department. This is where they came and they did the exhuming of Mackenzie. Now, I want to show you guys something. See this phone right here? There's that red phone right there. It says emergency 911 only. It's a red box. You open it up and there's a phone in there. It automatically dials 911. And I'm going to take you down here to the edge of this fire station. And down here, if you all can see right down the street there, where those vehicles are, that gray pickup truck down there, that's where the fire was. This is the fire station. This is how close I am to that red phone right there. There's the red phone on the fire station. This is how close I am to the fire scene. I'm a block away from the fire. One actually block away from the fire. So I'm going to walk now from this red phone. You can drive down there. I'm going to walk from this red phone, and I'm just going to walk. I'm not going to run in a panic mood. I'm going to walk from this red phone right here. Here's the red phone. I'm touching the red phone, and I'm going to start walking to the fire scene. Who's this? Huh?
Everything all right?
Yeah.
Something?
No, I'm Mackenzie Branham's father.
Oh, okay.
I'm just doing a live feed.
Okay.
So I'm walking. And this is me walking to the fire, to where the house caught on fire. And remember now, I'm not running. So if it was me in my house and my little girl was in there, I'd be running. So I'm walking. We're coming up on Maple Street. I'm walking down Walnut Street. Now right here is where the ambulance was sitting, where I'm standing right now, facing 41. This is Maple Street. Up this way here is High Street. So this is where the ambulance was facing. And I even paused there a little bit. And we're coming now up on where the fire was. And this is where the fire was, right here. I'm standing now here in about 2 seconds. Here's the alley. Where the alley was, where Mackenzie's window was. And this is where the fire was. This is actually right here, the sidewalk leading up to the front door is right here. So I walked it in about, what would you say, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes maybe, walking to that fire scene. In 2 minutes, I made it from the red phone, 911 phone. Now, if we go down this way, and we look through there, right here through these woods, you'll see a house there, okay? And that house right there, we're only probably another 2.5 minutes away, and that's where Steagles lived, the brother-in-law. And this is the tree right here that was on fire. This is the tree that was in that picture of the fire that was on fire. That's the only thing left standing here. Now, the shed is where Kenny ran to get the ladder off of that he put up against the house, and that's all the way back here at the end of the property. There's the shed right there that he went and got the ladder off of. Like I said, this is where the house was, where I'm standing. Now, this is where I'm telling you guys, you saw right here where I'm walking. I'm walking on the property or where the house was set on fire. Okay? If we cross over, here's where that Mr. Statham lived. Right here. I'm walking within less than 30 feet to his yard. This is where he stood and watched the fire. Over here is where they were. Right here is where they were standing. And there was another white truck here. That's not the white truck, but it was closer to the road. And that's where they were standing. And they never came over and asked this witness that lived right there anything about that fire. Now I'm going to walk down here. I'm going to walk down this way. Okay, now this is the alley right here that led up beside my daughter's bedroom window. This here is one of the witnesses' house. Right here. I'm at one witness's. Here's the other witness house across the street. Here's another witness that night, this big green house. And here's the other house that the other witness lived in. So I'm still right here by the fire, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over here's another one. And that's 6 witnesses that was up that night that watched the fire that has never been questioned by the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. Now, remember what I said, the ambulance was sitting right here in the road facing 729 or 41, and the mother was sitting right there on those steps, right there. That's the steps she was sitting on watching the fire. I walked from the fire station to the fire scene, Christie, in about, I'd say almost 2 minutes. It was about 2 minutes of walking. And then there's the curb she sat on. That's the curb she sat on when she talked to the people back in 2006 that lived in the greenhouse. That's the curb she was sitting on. Now, she came out between those 2 houses right there. That's the 2 houses. When she went around the back of her yard, she come out between those 2 houses right there. Now, that's where she come out. She turned this way. She passed the fire station and walked this way to get help. This is the direction that she went to get help. And then this is the house, that beige house there in the background, next to this green one. That's where she went and got a pair of shoes. That's where she went and got the shoes. And then this is that porch that she sat on when they came down this street right here with Mackenzie. And as they were coming down the street and they were loading her in the ambulance, she was sitting right there watching on those steps right there and never moved. She never got off those steps, never went to the ambulance. Okay, now down here, I'm going to show you guys as we go back down towards the fire, which is, like I said, it's only a skip and a hop to the fire. And right here is the alley. This is the alley right here. Right there is the alley. And the pickup truck was sitting right about here in the road where I'm standing. They backed it out. They parked it right here in the road. And this is where the firemen pushed the truck forward so that they could get their fire truck in. And I'm going to show you guys. That's the road. It's not a very wide road. So the truck, red pickup truck, sitting in the middle of the road, blocking the firemen from coming in. They would have to move it to get their truck close enough to my daughter's fire so that they could fight the fire. I'm going to estimate the fire started. I got it at about 1 o'clock. They brought Mackenzie out at 2:02 in the morning. So what I did, you guys, is I'm just showing you guys the scene, how close these witnesses were. This is a very short road. This road's only probably, what, 200 feet long? It's got 2 houses on the street. So you're telling me all the cop cars lined up down through here, all the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, all the firemen, fire marshal, and all them down this road right here. And you're telling me this witness right here didn't get asked a question? This witness didn't get asked. This witness didn't get asked. This witness didn't get asked. And the one down here in the trailer didn't get asked. Not one person got asked about what they saw that night or anything. And I know my daughter, when she walked home, she come down the street here. And when she come down this street's where she walked home from. And when she come down the street, she stopped right here in this yard and she talked to the lady here. She put her book bag down right here in the grass. And she talked to her for a little bit and then she walked to her house. And that was between 2:30 and 3 o'clock that day. The same time that Kenny was at TSC buying gas cans. Now I showed you where the Mike Stiegels lived. So, and we all know right there's the fire station. I'm still standing on the same street the fire was, and I can see the fire station right here. Right down that road right there. I'll walk out here a little further. I ain't gonna get hit. Right here, down here, all the way at the end of that road, which is, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 houses away was her mother and father's house. So she could have went there and got help. She could have crossed the railroad tracks to Kenny's brother-in-law, Mike Stiegels' house, and got help. She could have went right there to that fire station and picked up the red phone and got help. Instead, she wasted 20 minutes running around in the street, banging on doors, supposedly. And then, when she banged on doors, she didn't even tell them that her kid was in the house burning up. That Mackenzie was in that house. So why wake all these people up if you, and this house right here, next to this brick house, that's the gentleman that supposedly came out to let his dogs out to use the restroom and saw a little fire at the time. And then it went from a little fire to a big fire. That's where he lived. That's how close. This is how close everything was. Right here. This is how close everything was to my daughter's fire. And you're going to tell me that the Fayette County Sheriff's Office did their job? No, they didn't. I'm standing right here now in the middle of the road, and I can almost reach out and touch these houses with my hands. And like I said, it wasn't a big yard, so they didn't need no 10 gallons of gasoline to mow this yard. This yard ain't that big at all. And then I'm going to say that the lady that took the picture of the house while it was on fire, because you can see the railroad tracks in it, I'm going to say she was probably standing over in this area right here. And that was another witness to the fire, and her husband. And they were just past this trailer when she took that photograph. And the two firemen were actually standing right here where this gray van is in the picture, where that gray van is. And you got to remember, Jeff was standing right here in his yard in this trailer, which is just across the street. And that street ain't that wide. And there was a witness standing right there that woke up, and they never came over and asked him one single question about that fire. So I just walked around. I've only been on here. How long have I been on here? Anybody know the time? What time is it? 6:53. So I walked around this whole block and this whole street in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes. And they supposedly ran everywhere in 20 to 25 minutes trying to get somebody to wake up and get help. So you all can do the math, and you can figure out the truth of what's behind this. So like I said, tonight my main goal was to bring you guys to the crime scene, to show you where my daughter was exhumed, and to show you exactly how everything rolled out. And right there, just on this camper right here, she went that away between those two houses. She didn't go across the railroad tracks, which is right there to Kenny's brother-in-law's house, who's a sheriff deputy. She didn't go to the fire station, which I'm standing right here, and you all can see the fire stations right there. That's the fire station right there. Stand there looking at it. So there's the fire station. And then I just showed you 10 houses away was her mom and dad's house. And this is the scene. This is exactly where my daughter's house was sitting in the fire. And that back there is the shed that he had to go back and get the ladder off of. So now, I want the Fayette County Sheriff's Office to explain to me how I can stand here and look at every one of these witnesses standing here and looking at every one of them, and you're going to tell me that nobody saw a thing. All these witnesses that close, and the Fayette County Sheriff's Office didn't go and ask not one person a question. So I just wanted everybody, like I said, I wanted to bring everybody down here to this fire scene, let everybody see what was going on. Everybody could see, here's the railroad tracks. Like I said, you go down these railroad tracks, and down about 250 feet, you could cut through the woods and be in the Potter's front door. Ready? Yep. So, like I said, I just wanted everybody to see the... I'll go dig up the house. I just found out where possibly the house is buried at. I'm checking into it right now. It is not on the landlord's property, but it was illegally buried. If everything is the right. You know, I don't want to say that for sure, but the house was buried. It was not taken to the dump. I'm working on that right now. I got some information on it the other day when I talked to the landlord of who removed the house. And then I got information this morning on where the house is probably sitting at. So I'm working on that right now. But I just wanted everybody to see how close. This is the house right here. This is where she went and got the shoes from. You can go ahead and go that way. This is where she got the shoes from. That's how close she was to getting shoes. That's what mattered, the shoes from this house right here. And then she went across the street to this house and sat right there on that porch and watched them load up my daughter. And now we're actually going the way the ambulance would have went. This is exactly how the ambulance would have went. And slow down right here. This is the house that she came between. This is where she ran between the houses. That's what she said from the backyard. And now we're driving down. I'm going to show you guys how close she was to her own mother and father's house, whose door was always unlocked. It was always unlocked. Always. And always people up at that house. So we counted 10. It's a little more. I'm sorry, you guys. It's actually 10, 11, 12. It's the 13th house on the street. 13th house on the street. And we're right now at that house. Right now, right here's the end of it. This is the house where her parents live. Now, if somebody was running with the gas cans, the brother William, he would have came through this yard right here off the railroad tracks. That's what I'm saying, you guys. You wonder why I work so hard on this case. Why I work so hard on this case is because there's a lot of unanswered questions, and it ain't by the community. It ain't by the people that did it. It's by the ones that should have done their job. That's where the unanswered questions are. Why didn't you talk to a witness? Why did you take my daughter to a fire station to do the exhuming instead of to a sanitary confinement in Montgomery County where they took her the first time? So that's the thing that upsets me. That's why I fight as hard as I do. You know, and I got a sheriff that don't want to answer those questions. He wants to keep blaming the detective that's no longer living. And you can't do that. You can't blame that detective. He put Detective Brown on my daughter's case. And when he put my Detective Brown on my daughter's case, he assigned that man to that case. He is his boss. He should have checked into that detective and said, hey, what's going on, man? Hey, did you call Montgomery County and find out the DNA results are in? Hey, did you talk to the witnesses on the street over there? You know, he should have asked those questions when that detective wasn't returning with any information. And then your sheriff is going to sit there and tell people that they talked to 100 to 150 witnesses and didn't get nothing. Who did they talk to? Who did they talk to? Because the witnesses lived right there and they didn't talk to none of them. So what witnesses did they talk to? And I believe, if I'm right, I'm not 100% sure, but not all of Mary Ann's family was brought in and asked any questions. I'm trying to think. Let's see. I even offered them to talk to my boys, because my boys did go there and stay on the weekends sometime with their mother. So they didn't talk to my boys. So what 150 witnesses to this fire did they speak to? And then I can understand out of that 150 them saying, well, we didn't get nothing out of it. It was either somebody that heard a rumor or somebody. Okay, but you didn't talk to the 8 witnesses that were standing there in the middle of the street watching the whole thing, that Mary Ann knocked everywhere that Mary Ann and Kenny went in their yard, touched their door. Those people should have been asked questions. What time did she knock on your door? What was she doing? Did she act, suspicious, or, You know, was she crying? Was she screaming? Did she tell you that her child was in the house? Those are what a real detective questions would be asked of witnesses that were up during that fire before the firemen got to that scene. Those questions should have been asked. So that's why I'm upset, because I just showed you guys where my daughter was buried. I showed you where they exhumed her and took her to the fire station. How close? Took them 4 minutes to take her there. I think they were gone 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Like I said, me and my sister Christy and my wife went and ate breakfast. We got done with our breakfast. I got the call saying that they were done and they were getting ready to head back with her. And we went back down there to the cemetery. And then I just showed you guys, I walked, did not, and I even stopped, talked to somebody asking me why I was there. I walked from that red phone to the fire scene in 2 minutes. 2 minutes walking to a 911 phone. And that fire station was already built, was already a brand new fire station, brand new phone in 2006. Matter of fact, I think it was only a year old, the fire station, when my daughter's fire happened. And that's how close that fire station was to the fire. And I still lost my daughter in that fire. And I lost my daughter because 2 people voided telling anybody that my child was in there. They voided by putting the truck in the middle of the road to block the fire truck from getting to the fire. And anybody else, they can believe what they want to believe. I know what's our facts, and I know what the truth is. And like I said, before I'd have banged on the door, and because Kenny was a fireman, he knew that fire station had a red phone on the building. He knew that as soon as you picked it up, it dialed 911. If he'd have got up out of the bed and did what he said he did and ran to that phone, he'd have been on that phone about 1:30, quarter after 1, saying that his house was on fire and that my daughter was in that house. So that's why I know that that fire was set around 1:15, because of his time and her time frame of everything they said that they tried to do, did, all that stuff. Only thing they did was prevent anybody from getting to that house and pulling out my little girl out of that house and trying to save my little girl's life. That is the saddest, and it kills me. It really kills me that I have to go and do this. I have to investigate my daughter's homicide because the Fayette County Sheriff, the person that we put in that chair that we voted for, won't do his job. And I've proven he hasn't done his job because, like I said, it has been over 60 days now and he has not talked to Jamie Potter in almost 60 days. He hasn't talked in 90 days to the witnesses that I tracked down. I got their phone numbers and I gave that to them, and they still haven't talked to none of them. Why are you avoiding justice for Mackenzie? Why are you avoiding it, Vernon Stanforth? Because you know the truth is going to show you all made a lot of mistakes and you covered up your mistakes, and then by covering your mistakes, you covered up mine. One thing, Vernon Stanford, you forgot. You forgot how to cover up the father. Couldn't win that one. Couldn't shut me up. That is the main thing I'm telling you guys. He couldn't cover up me. He couldn't stop me from doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I appreciate everybody that has sent me messages on the messenger. I appreciate everybody that has contacted me with information. You guys are awesome, man. This community is an awesome community. I'm telling you, you guys, Mackenzie is so proud that we have not forgotten who she was. The Fayette County Sheriff's Office, Ryan McFarland, Vernon P. Stanford, they might have forgotten Mackenzie, but we didn't forget Mackenzie. We didn't forget her. And we're never, ever going to forget her. That is my baby, man. That is my little girl. And somebody murdered my daughter. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have proven it over and over with documents, facts, statements, tape recordings. Mary Ann, Kenny Mossbarger set that fire that killed my little girl. And the key thing to this is finding that black guy to see if he knew anything about it, or if he came back and set that fire. I'm not saying yet that he is a suspect. He's a person of interest. I need to find out why he was there at midnight that night. But I can tell you right now, the mother and the boyfriend set that fire and they killed my little girl. And I can say that now 100% without a doubt in my mind who killed Mackenzie Taylor Branham. And I'm going to tell you all right now, if any mothers are out there, you all know, actions speak louder than words. You never leave your baby in a house that's on fire. You never run and leave her there. And then don't even tell anybody she's in that house. And I don't understand this, Vernon. Answer one question for me. How can you sit there and tell me today, eye to eye, that you have no suspect and no person of interest, and I've given you so much that proves there is a suspect in my daughter's death? And not only that, the fire marshal will not clear Mariana Kenny of this fire. So how can the fire marshal say that there's suspects, but the Fayette County Sheriff's Office says there's not? Because you're trying to cover it up. You're trying to hide that one person that lived on the other side of those railroad tracks that was there that night when that fire was set. That's who you're trying to hide. And I've said this a million times over. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. But don't prove me wrong in a closed door meeting. Prove me wrong in front of the community. Go lie with me and show me your evidence that proves that I'm a liar, that I don't know what I'm talking about. Look at there, another Fayette County finest. Hell, they were probably going to the scene. They were probably going to arrest me for trespassing on Walnut Street. That's the only thing they can investigate, where Donald Branham is. I told my mom today, it's like that old saying, where's Waldo? It's where's Donald? Because you never know where I'm going to be with my camera. The bottom line is, I thank everybody, I thank everybody with my heart and soul that has followed this story, that has directed me, and they, you know, when you make a comment or something, I look at those comments, I follow up on your guys' comments, I check into things with those comments, you know, and a lot of times they do go where I need them to go. Like I said, I think I got to the bottom of who tore my daughter's house down and where it's at. Once I find out that it's true, I will approach that person, and me and that person is going to have a talk. And either he's going to allow me to know where my daughter's house is, and allow me to get it and dig it up, or I'm just going to go there and dig it up and go to jail if I have to go to jail. But they're going to take me with my shovel. The bottom line is, I'm about justice for Mackenzie, my little girl. I'm about justice for all children of this county and any county, that we are tired of this kind of stuff happening, and it is time for it to stop. It is time for it to stop. It is time that we as a community need to stand up, and our voices need to be heard. And every time you guys get on my live feed and you make a comment, your voice is being heard. And trust me, don't think that Vernon P. Stanford ain't on this live feed watching everything everybody says. So, like I always say, hi Vernon, how are you doing? Because I know he's watching. He hates it. His whole ordeal with me is not about my daughter. His ordeal is I am showing his Fayette County Sheriff's Office how you should investigate a homicide and then the mistakes that they made. That's why he's pissed at me. It ain't because of my daughter's death and I'm barking. It's because I'm showing him how to investigate and how you should have investigated my daughter's homicide. And if you'd have done your job, my daughter would be resting in peace. I would have been able to have closure, and 2 people would be in prison 10 years ago. And like I said, anybody that doubts this, anybody that can prove me wrong of what I'm saying, don't call me and bring me to a room and close the door. Bring me live and show me I'm wrong. Live to this community. Because this community is everything to me. Everything to me. I'm going up. Go up. Yep. Yeah. I'm back at home and I'm going to go upstairs and go through some stuff with you guys. Some more stuff over some stuff. And like I said, I appreciate everybody that, you know, and anybody who wants to prove me wrong, I live right here on Petticord, and right there's my address. See that's my address right there.
I like what I'm seeing.
Ooh, dark, ain't it? Alright, now we're back here in Mackenzie's investigation room. You know, maybe Vernon ought to stop by and come up here and visit this room, and he'd understand about how an investigation is done and everything. Like I said, I want to show you guys the picture again. I do have somebody sketching a new picture and everything. This is the guy, what he looks like, kind of looks like, that was in that house that night at midnight. So I want everybody to see that. He's 5'9", 150 to 165 pounds, medium built. And back in 2006, he was in his mid-30s. Now he's in his mid-40s. So I wanted everybody to see that. I'll let you take over that. And then we'll go over here. Alright, hey everybody, how y'all doing? Alright, so like I said, I wanted to take everybody to the fire scene. I wanted everybody to see how close all those houses were of witnesses that literally were standing outside. Some of them even wanted to go down and try to even save my baby girl. They wanted to, and that's the saddest part, is these people were strangers. Don't know me, don't know Mackenzie, and they were ready to go into that house and get my little girl out of that house. But they didn't even know there was a child in that house until after sirens and fire trucks were coming. And then all of a sudden the mother wanted to say, hey, oh yeah, by the way, my child's in there. You know, and that's what I'm saying. But I just showed you guys, like I said, down there at the fire scene, we have Mary Ann's house here. We have the railroad tracks over here. Okay? We had the trailer sits this away. We had a house right here. A house right here. That's an alley going between the fire and that house. Then you got a house sits right here. And then you got, this is Maple Street. This is Maple Street. And then there was a house right here, a house right here, and then here's the fire station. And then you had a house right here, and a house right here. Okay. Now, when the mother said, everybody heard it on the tape, that she come out of this house, she ran around the house and met Kenny back there. And I showed y'all where that shed was. He had to go clear back here to get that ladder and then put the ladder there that he never used. And it's also the ladder that the Fayette County Sheriff's Office lost. They lost that evidence. They lost an 8 by 10 foot wooden ladder. They lost it. They can't find it. But Mary Ann, supposedly, they came between this right here. Now remember, 13, 14 houses down the street is her parents' house. Over here was Mike Stiegel's, the deputy's house. And right here is the fire station. That's the fire station. That's the uncle who was a deputy. That's his house. That's her mom and dad's house. And I showed you guys all of it. So instead of going across railroad tracks to the deputy house, which would have took probably maybe the same amount of time I walked from the fire station, it's about that same distance, maybe a little longer. So we're looking at maybe 3.5 minutes walking. Here might have been closer to 5 minutes. Fire station was actually 2 minutes walking. That's walking, guys. That's walking to it. That's not, oh my God, my child's in this house, it's on fire, and running in a panic mood. Instead, she comes, they go through these 2 houses right here, up Maple Street, they pass the fire station, they voided this way, they voided this direction, they come up here, they go to this house first, then she goes over to this house, gets a pair of shoes.
Do you have my charger? Where is it?
Then she gets a pair of shoes there, and then she goes back to that house right there. And then she goes inside this house, and think about it now, you guys, this guy was up. He said he was up standing in his yard at that trailer. So if they'd have came down the alley, they'd have seen him, and actually he's the 3rd caller of 911. They were the 2nd caller, and that was the 1st caller to 911. And I think there's another house over here. This is where the lady lives that took the picture of the fire. She walked down here to the railroad tracks and took a picture here. And I think they might have called 911. I don't know for sure. I didn't ask her. I should ask her. But I know he was the 3rd caller. That was the 2nd caller. That was the 1st 911 caller. Now, this house right here is where she called me. She called me at 2:19 in the morning. Now, Mackenzie was brought out of the house at 2:02. And she told me my daughter was still in the house. And Mackenzie was already in the squad. The squad was sitting like this, with the front of it like that. That's the squad. And they brought her down the street. They brought her down the alley, this way, down the street, and loaded her up in the ambulance that was facing this way, down Maple Street. And she was sitting right here on the steps. Right there on the steps when they brought my daughter out and loaded her up in the ambulance. And like I said, her direction, she avoided everywhere she could have been. She avoided. And actually, I have a photograph. I have a photograph. Let me see if I can find that photograph. I have a photograph somewhere here. I was looking at it the other day where the BCI drew the same map. And I think they came up within 5.5 minutes
yeah.
to all 3 places.
Right.
I'm giving a little more. But they walked it supposedly, and they did it in, I think it's 5 minutes. That they said they walked it, and they were at all the places that she could have went and got help. And it was like 5 minutes or something was their total. But that's what I said. So anybody that can prove me wrong, because like I said, we just went live And everybody watched me walk from that red payphone. Everybody watched me walk from that red payphone to that fire. And I did it in 2 minutes. 2 minutes walking. And that whole time, that red phone was sitting there. In 2006, that phone was sitting on that building that they could have picked up. And everybody saw what the sign said. It said 911. Big red phone, man, with a little latch. Open it up, pick up the phone, and that automatically dials 911. And him being a fireman would have known about that phone. He would have known that all fire stations have a phone on them. So, if any, like I said, Vernon, anybody wants to prove me wrong, come and prove me wrong. But do not do it. I will refuse to talk to anybody at the Fayette County Sheriff's Office behind closed doors. Nope. This community built this. This community built this. We built this right here. All this right here was built by the community. And the community deserves answers. We deserve answers. So do not pull me in a room and close the door and then tell me, well, here's how I can prove you wrong. No. You need to prove it wrong to all of us. To everybody in the community. Because we're the ones that built this. We're the ones that made Mackenzie's investigation room. So do not call me and say, I need you to come down to the Sheriff Annex building, we need to talk. Talking's over with. If you're going to talk to me, you're going to do it live. I want it live so everybody in this community hears exactly what you're telling me they hear. Because everybody deserves the same thing I hear. We put the hours into this. We did. So we deserve whatever you got to say to me, you need to say to everybody. Because everybody, we're now Mackenzie's Army. See, we're all one big family now. We're Mackenzie's Army, Vernon. So anything you got to say to me, you need to say it to Mackenzie's Army. No more behind closed doors where I listen to the bullshit and then I go to tell everybody and then you go and print in the newspaper a totally different story that you didn't tell me that. So, you know what? I don't want to hear you lies. And this way, the community hears it. You ain't got to put it in the newspaper. Nobody has to go buy the Record Herald to read what you said or what you told the father. Because everybody will get to hear it. And this way, everybody will hear the truth. Because I'm tired of you printing stuff in the newspaper and getting on the news. And then I turn around and I show that you just... I mean, if everybody would look at Vernon Stanford's statements in all the newspapers, and I have them. I have all the newspapers. You will see how many times he changes his stories in those newspapers. Like I said, it even started with the clothes of my daughter. You know, first he said the clothes were irrelevant. They're irrelevant. We didn't need those clothes. But within, 6 sentences later, he says, well, I would have liked, it'd been nice if we'd have had the opportunity to look at those clothes. Then I find out you was there. You was in the hospital with my daughter, with the clothes, with the body, and not one time as a sheriff who's on 9 boards, who trains cops, who trains investigators. Never once did you turn and look at that corner and said, hey, you going to collect these clothes? They're evidence. Hey, are you going to put her on a white sheet so anything that falls off of her, we can collect it, after? Come on, man. Come on. And then your wife gives a statement to a coroner. And then the statement is given to that coroner before a fire marshal even ruled it a murder. Come on. Something's fishy. I smell fish. I smell fish. So like I said, I wanted to take everybody down to Mackenzie's grave. I wanted everybody to meet my daughter. I wanted everybody to see where they took her and exhumed her body, and then where they took her and did their testing. And then I wanted everybody to see how close that fire station was to that house fire. And not one of those parents, man, come on, you guys. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Anybody that lives in Jeffersonville knows, and they can answer this. Sometimes there's always a sheriff deputy sitting in the fire station looking out that big glass window on that faces almost where the, I mean, you would sit in that room, you could see the fire. You would be able to see the glow of that fire. And they know that, but they never went to that fire station. Never went there. Never went to the fire station. And him being a fireman, he could have gone into that fire station. He could have got anything he needed out of that fire station to start what he needed to do. And this is the same woman that's going to lay in a bed and tell this man beside her that he's a hero and that she loves him. All right, if that's what you want to do. If that's what you want to do. But that's the whole reason I fight the way I fight. This is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. I noticed some people got a hold of me. They text messaged me. I appreciate what you're going to do for Mackenzie. Like I said, you guys, I would love, I mean, you know, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it. I would love donations so I can work harder on this and do some other things I want to do. But I keep telling myself, if I take money, then I'm going to have a problem with that side of the family that's going to say, see, he's all about the money. He ain't about Mackenzie's about the money. And I didn't want that drama. So I am going to set something up, and anybody who wants to help me with anything, I'll appreciate it. There's some things I want to do in Columbus that's going to cost me a little bit of money. I want to rent a hotel up there so I can get up in the morning and be right on Mike DeWine's front steps and in his office, which I'll be going live when I do that in Mike DeWine's office to ask him why you ain't coming down to Fayette County. I want to make a trip to New York to the Today Show. So if anybody wants to, I will get with some people or something so that everybody knows where the money is going and what it's being spent for. I just don't want the drama. I don't want the drama of the mother and the boyfriend saying he's all about the money, not his kid. And because that's not what it's about. I've been doing this for 12 years, and I ain't asked him for a dime. I've never asked for a dime. Like I said, and my friend right here is watching it on camera, he knows I'll sell something if I got to have the money to do something. I will sell it, you know, and but my daughter is my #1 priority. She's my #1 priority. So I will set something up. Like I said, I just don't want the drama about it. About, oh, he's just there for the money. Because it ain't. I'd rather have my daughter than have money. I'd rather have her. But it is getting tight for me to do certain things. And so if anybody does want to help, I appreciate it. Anybody who wants to do it confidential, you know, everybody knows my address. You can send me a message. I can give you my address. I can send a receipt to you guys.
Always says he can set it up and handle it for you.
Okay. There is some things I have to do that, I mean, but I'm trying to do it. Don't think I ain't. I am trying to do it. But sometimes my mom was talking to me today, and she said sometimes you just got to ask for the help. You got to ask the community to help you. And I told my mom the same thing. I just don't want the drama. I mean, you guys got to understand, it don't take much for that woman to take me to court and try to shut down this investigation. And I showed you, remember, the documents where she had me investigated over $1,000 from the state's attorney general's office because I got a check and she didn't get a check. And I ended up getting investigated. And that's something. Mike DeWine sent investigators down to investigate me. And then they didn't find nothing. Everything was legit. I had receipts from the funeral and everything. And they paid me my money. But they didn't give her hers, and she threw the fit. And she makes a phone call to Mike DeWine, and he sends down 2 detectives to my house a year after my daughter's death to ask me about the money situation. I was investigated. Fully investigated. I had to show receipts of everything. I had to show where money went, what was spent. I mean, they were at my house. My wife remembers it. I think they were at my house 8 hours with me. I had to bring everything out. Everything. They went through all my boxes, everything. And then they found nothing. And then the one detective, I remember it, he said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Do you have an ex?" And I said, "Yep." And I said, "I know that's why you're all here." And he laughed. And because she's the one that made the phone call. The only reason that she didn't get her money back from the state of Ohio is because she had a felony. Wasn't nothing to do with me. Had nothing to do with me stopping her from getting her little money. And the thing of it is, she collected enough money. So that was the whole thing. That's why I kept telling my mom, man, I just don't want the drama. You know, I can't call Mike DeWine's office and get their asses down here to investigate what happened to my daughter and why errors were made. But she can call Mike DeWine to have me investigated over $1,000. That's what it was, $1,063. And I got the receipt. And I get investigated for 8 hours by 2 detectives from BCI through the state's attorney general. Mike DeWine made sure they come down and investigate me before they cut a check to me. But she made the phone call. So that's what I was saying. I didn't want the drama. My biggest thing is solving my daughter's murder. And I think I'm there. I think I've done it. Why the Fayette County Sheriff's Office don't want to do their job, I don't know. But that's why I want to make a couple trips and start knocking on some bigger doors. Knocking on these doors here in Fayette County gets me nowhere. I've knocked on their doors. Hell, we've done a live feed with them. It don't do no good. I go into an office and their secretaries tell me they ain't even at work, and they are. Those are the wrong doors to knock on. Another thing I want to do is I'm going to start going, I'm going to find out when Mike DeWine is campaigning, where he's campaigning, and I'm going to show up my face there. And when they turn to, you know how, like, you know, when Donald Trump and them are running, you see where they carry somebody out because they were running their mouth. Well, I'm going to be the one running my mouth at Mike DeWine's office and saying, when he starts talking about how he helps victims and helps children, and I'm going to be the one in that. So I want to do that too. I want to make sure he does not become my governor of the state of Ohio, because his staff hung up on me over me trying to find out what went wrong with my daughter's case. So I don't want him as my governor. So those are the main things I want to do. That's why I did what I did tonight. I wanted everybody to see, and you got to think about this, you guys. The main key to this whole thing is that mother. Why would any mother wait 20 minutes to tell somebody her child is in a house that's burning? And that's the key to this. Because every woman that I've talked to since my daughter's death, the first thing out of their mouth, before I even get to say my whole sentence, the first thing out of their mouth is, I'd have never left my kid. I'd have died with my baby. And when you got that many women saying that, and then I look over here at the over here at Mary Ann, look at here, a butterfly trying to attach to me. I sit there and I think, all these women out here saying this, but one didn't. One didn't. And she didn't even, and all these comments that she's made, all this tape recordings I've done of Mary Ann, all these emails that she sent me, not one time in there did she say, I regret not saving my baby. I regret not being with my baby when she died. Not one time. Not one time has she ever said, I regret it. Not once. Not once. But she saved a dog. She saved a dog. They made sure that dog got out of that house. And then when they moved, and anybody that had her on Facebook or MySpace back then, you wouldn't see hardly any pictures of my daughter Mackenzie on her pages, but you see a ton of them of the dog, with Kenny, with her, this dog with another dog, all kinds of pictures of this dog, but none of her daughter. So I I'm going to cut it short tonight. Like I said, I just wanted to take everybody, because a lot of people keep asking about the fire and where it happened and all that. So that's why I did what I did tonight. I wanted to show everybody, how close those witnesses were to that crime scene. And some reason, Fayette County, they did interview 150 people, but they forgot a whole bunch that lived right there on that street. And never asked one question to any of them about that fire. But Channel 10 News did. Channel 10 News talked to all three of them. Channel 10 News asked them questions. They asked Jeff, they asked Pat, they asked Jamie. They asked 3 of those people questions, Channel 10 News. And you're telling me that the Fayette County Sheriff's Office is at the crime scene and they didn't look and see that Channel 10 News is talking to people? Bullshit. You know damn well they saw Channel 10 News sitting there in the road, their big Channel 10 News vehicle, and a cameraman, and they're talking to witnesses that was up during that fire. And you're not going to walk over there and listen to that conversation, and then when they're done, ask those people, hey, can you come down to the sheriff building? We like to ask you some questions about what you saw, what you know, what was she doing, what was Kenny doing. You know, Vernon sat there and said that Marianne and Kenny pushed the red truck across the road. That's what he said to me, which was a lie. The firemen are the ones that pushed the truck out of the road. But there's a witness that knows that Kenny said, I'm going to go down and move my truck. I'm going to go move my truck. Oh, by the way, why I go down here and move my truck? Oh, yeah, her daughter's up in the back bedroom. He thought about an $800 truck. She thought about a $7 pair of shoes, flip-flops or whatever. And then even made the remark to the lady that they didn't fit. Could she get her another pair? So she went back in and got her another pair. Are you kidding me? I'm worried about shoes on my feet, and I've got a child up in the house that supposedly she talked to. Remember, she talked to her. And you're going to leave my daughter up there screaming bloody murder. But we all know Mackenzie didn't know there was a fire. But I'm just saying, out of her words, I talked to my daughter. I know I did. I told her to go to the room. You talked to her. You already, if that was true, and you already knew your daughter was scared, and your daughter was knowing what was going to happen to her, and then you run up the street and ask for a pair of shoes? Come on, Vernon. Are you that friggin' dumb? Are you that stupid that you can't see that? Everybody else in this world can see that, but you can't see it. You can't see that some mother ran up the street after she told you she talked to her daughter and asked for a pair of shoes and didn't even tell that person, my daughter's in that house. Are you that stupid? And then you're going to sit there and tell me I'm a disgruntled father? You're damn right I'm disgruntled. You're damn right I'm pissed. You're lucky that when I'm pissed, I have people that calm me down. Because let me tell you something. You're weak. You're scared as much as they're scared of the fire they did. You're scared. And I can prove you're scared. And the thing of it is, you're going to tell me that that weasel of a prosecutor we have is going to sit there and tell me I don't have enough to go into a courtroom and convince 12 people that she did it? Then he don't need to be my prosecutor of Fayette County. And when it comes back to voting again, I guarantee you my box won't be checked under his name. You can't tell me that everything I've got here and everything I've done and everything I presented and gave you witnesses and gave you a person that was in the house, you're going to tell me you can't go into a jury? And I tell you right now, that prosecutor would only have to say one word. The mother didn't save her daughter. She went and got a pair of shoes from a neighbor up the street and then waited 20 minutes before she told anybody. I guarantee you there ain't a juror on there. Man, woman, black, white, Chinese, Oriental, whatever, is going to sit there and say, I don't think she did it. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're that stupid, Vernon, that you're going to sit here and tell this community you have no person of interest and no suspect. Are you kidding me? I don't want you as my sheriff. I don't want him as my prosecutor. And I surely don't want Mike DeWine as my governor. If you're all that stupid about this scene and this mother and this boyfriend who told the first lie right off the bat. Oh yeah, I used the ladder. I climbed up the ladder, broke the window out, went in her bedroom. I took my hands and went all over the bed, and I couldn't find her. And then the smoke started choking me, and it got the heat was so intense. And I come back down the ladder, and then the fireman pulled me off the ladder in my underwear, which nobody saw him in his underwear. And then he turns around and tells y'all, all right, I didn't do that. You're right. I just didn't want the town to look down on me. You know, I am a fireman, and people would look down on me. Motherfucker. Whoops.
Oops.
Sorry about the cussing. I look down on you because you're a coward. You're a coward. You let my daughter die. You're a coward. And then you got the nerves to go and tattoo my precious angel on your chest, saying you're a hero. You ain't a hero. You're a coward. And I'll be the first one to call you a coward. Your brother's a coward. Your mom and dad's are cowards because they already know what Marianne said, that they brought him and her clothes. And if that was true or not true, you'd have already spoke up and said she's lying. But that's all right. We know who's telling the truth. We know who's got facts. You're cowards. I'm the first one to say it. You're a coward. Vernon Stanford, coward. You're a coward because you will not prosecute. See, what people don't understand, a lot of people ask me, why ain't this going nowhere? Fayette County Sheriff's Office, their job is to investigate. Then they're supposed to take that investigation and put it together. Then they take that investigation and they hand it to the prosecutor. Then the prosecutor goes through it. And then the prosecutor says, yeah, you got enough. No, you don't have enough. And then the prosecutor, if they don't have enough, the prosecutor is supposed to tell what he needs them to get to make this go to a grand jury. Okay? And like I said it before, when Vernon Stanford walks into a prosecutor's office, he's carrying a piece of paper about this thick. He already knows what the answer is going to be. No, you don't have enough. So that way, he can call it an ongoing investigation and keep it doing what it's doing. But what the prosecutor should do is say, you know what? I need a detective on this. That detective needs to go find Mr. Branham and bring what Mr. Branham has, or go and investigate what Mr. Branham has and bring that information so that I can go up in front of a grand jury and I can go ahead and get an indictment and bring these people to into here. And then let's bring the fire marshal back down and let's charge him for the arson. You know, but some reason Vernon don't want to do that. He don't want, and then he wants to tell the community, well, we have stuff. We have stuff. You ain't got. If he has stuff, how do I have more than he does, but he has stuff? And then when I go and meet him and I ask him a question, it's, they stutter. I mean, you've heard them on my tapes. Yeah. They stutter. Yep. It's like I ask them this question that they don't have an answer to, you know, and that's what I said, no more. Now on, you talk to me, you're going to talk to me live, in front of the community. Everybody wants to hear your opinion. This is the main question I want answered. Why has there not been an indictment and 2 people already set up for a trial? Because I have enough here that I can put 2 people away. There's people in prison today that didn't even commit a crime, and they're in prison with less of taken to a court. There's innocent people in prison today. There's people in prison that they have less evidence and they're in prison. There's people in prison that they only have circumstantial evidence and put them away. So why can't my daughter's case be solved? Why can't it be solved? You already know these doors were barricaded. You already know. Because I'm going to tell you what. you know what, Ryan McFarland, he ain't a cop. He is not a cop. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't a man alive that's a detective, a good detective, that's going to tell me we don't show pictures. We don't bullcrap. And number two, any real true detective would already brought Marianne and Kenny in, and they'd have done an interrogation like you're supposed to. And I guarantee you, with all Marianne's stories, they have enough evidence in this room alone to punch holes in every one of her stories. Punch holes in every one of her stories. So my question is, why haven't you brought them in? Why haven't you sent them for another lie detector test and asked them questions about Mackenzie? Not the fire. We already know about the fire. Ask questions about my daughter. Was you in her room? What did you do in her room? Did you touch Mackenzie? Did you hurt Mackenzie? Did you give Mackenzie any medicine? Did you... That's the question that should be asked.
Yep.
Not about the fire. We already know. The fire marshal already did his job. He can prove it's an arson. He can prove who's behind it. He can prove what evidence he got out of Mackenzie's room. He has his stuff. He has all his stuff. Fayette County Sheriff's Office, what do you have? We have something. We just ain't going to share it. We ain't going to tell anybody what we have, because that is the key to this. We're just waiting on that last piece of the puzzle, and then we'll have it all. And they didn't even know there was another man in that house. They've been saying that for 12 years. We got this. They didn't even know there was a person in the house. They didn't even know that my daughter went to bed that night in a blue nightgown, but when they brought her body out, she was in other clothes, different clothes. Come on, man, you ain't got shit. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. All you got is what I said last night, cover up. And I'm going to prove it. And the more that you hesitate on this, that gives me more time to do what I want to do. And that gives me more time to dig. See, Vernon and them made a mistake. See, they told somebody that the reason that they are able to do what they do to me is because I can't afford an attorney. See, if I had an attorney, I know that attorney would tear this up. And Vernon and them know I can't afford one. They know I can't hire an attorney. So, all they keep looking at is, oh, he's just, he's a father with a mouth. He's disgruntled. He's mad. Blah, blah, blah. We give him information. He shares it to the community. And they keep dragging this and dragging this and dragging it. Because they know I don't have the money. They know I can't afford to go get an attorney to walk in that sheriff's office and say, we're done here. Start presenting stuff. I want to see it now. See, he knows that. He knows that. Vernon knows that. Ryan McFarland knows that. Mike DeWine knows that. So the only thing I can do is I've got to go to Columbus and bang on doors. Because I can't. I'll be honest. I can't afford an attorney for my daughter. I can't. And I can't find an attorney that will do it.
Pro bono.
Pro bono.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. Because, I did everybody's job. There's nothing really. There's nothing for them to do other than ask questions. Why this ain't done? Why ain't this done? Where's the results from the exhuming? Where's the DNA from the first autopsy? Where's the report from that? See, Vernon knows, man, I can't afford it. He knows I can't afford it. So I'm battling a battle. Like I said, not only am I fighting over here in this corner who murdered my daughter, but then over here I'm fighting the law enforcement of the cover-up. And they know I can't afford an attorney to do what an attorney can do that I can't do. All I can keep doing is what I'm doing and digging and banging on doors and taping people and their lies and their bullshit. But it's not getting anywhere. It's not leaving Fayette County, and that's the problem. It needs out of Fayette County. And Vernon and the commission, they all know, man. They know. As long as I ain't got an attorney walking in there demanding, it'll stay right here in Fayette County. They know that. They told me. They told me. They know it. But I wish I had the education and I could go and get my... hell, this lasted 12 years. What is it, 4 years to becoming an attorney? Something like that. So I should have went to school and just went ahead and tried to get my lawyer degree, and then I could have done it myself. But like I said, you guys, I'm going to do everything I can to fight this. I keep sharing everything with you guys, the community, because I try to explain it, try to break it down. I go back and I read everybody's comments, so I thought, you know, I saw some stuff on there about the scene and all that stuff, so that's why I said last night I was going to do a special thing, let people know, you know, how close these witnesses were, where that fire was, the way that she ran, who she ran away from, that she could have got help immediately. And like I said, I showed everybody it took me 2 minutes to walk from an emergency phone that could call 911. But you got to remember, she had a cell phone. He had a cell phone. And they still didn't make a 911 call. Remember, she admitted it. Because she said, when I got out of the house, Kenny was in his underwear standing in the alley. Remember that alley, everybody, I showed. And I called his parents, and they brought us clothes. Okay, let me tell you something. I just talked to a young lady today on the phone, and she told me about an incident. And she said, I never thought about my shoes. I never thought about me and my husband being soaking wet and cold, and we didn't think about nothing. This mother was worried about clothes, which she was already dressed, worried about a pair of shoes, and then a pair of shoes that didn't fit her wanted another pair. And the whole time, our little 8-year-old, beautiful daughter, was laying in a bed, burning. Burning. And then he thought about an $800 pickup truck and his dog. Remember that. A dog, a pickup truck, clothes, shoes came before my daughter's life. Before Mackenzie's life. You know, before my daughter's life, those objects meant more to them than my little girl in that fire. So now, I dare anybody.
Did you ever check on that? What it would cost?
What? Yeah, I did. I did check on it. Retaining fee for an attorney would be around $3,500 to almost 10 grand. That's just a down payment to get them started.
Right.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The other thing I talked about, and maybe some people are getting confused on that, was if I have to re-dig up Mackenzie to get my own results, it would be $3,500 to pay Montgomery County, and then the results would come to me, not to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. And that's the thing. It's sad that it costs money to get justice for your child. It's sad. It really is. And but like I said, hopefully I can make these couple trips I want to do, and I can bang on the right doors. One of them, like I said, is in New York. That's the Today Show.
Holly. Don't forget the hair analysis.
She mentions that hair one more time. And, well, I got other things, too, that need to be tested.
Yeah.
But it's sad that, you know, it costs money. And like I said, I've been trying to do this without asking. I don't want to ask, because, like I said, I don't want the drama. I mean, if anybody ain't seen already what I've been through with this woman, I really don't need more of her drama coming at me. And so, you know, I try to do the best I can do, and I do it. I'm meeting Thursday for the posters. So anybody who wants a poster, a Mackenzie's Reward poster, you need to let me know by Thursday. Send me a message, or send Justice for Murdered Mackenzie Taylor Branham a message that you want one of these posters for your businesses or your home or whatever. I saw on there last night somebody said that they were wanting to pay for the
window decals.
The window decals. I will get with that person for the window decals. But Thursday I'm meeting with a lady, and that's going to reprint out a bunch of these posters. I know there's some of my lady friends up in Canada that want them. They're going to go clear to Canada. Australia, there's a lady down there wants one for her business. But I will, if you live out of Fayette County, I need you to send me your name, address, to where I can send the poster to you and get this poster. I want this poster. I would love for this poster to be everywhere, all over the United States.
Probably best to send a poster with the shirt to Canada.
Yeah, we could do that.
That way there only be one.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. Let's do it that way.
We can do that. But anybody, like I said, by Thursday, the posters will be printed. So Friday, I can start getting them in the mail to people that live out of state and everything. I want my daughter everywhere, all over, because you never know. We don't know where this person's at.
Exactly.
This person could be in Hawaii. This person could be in Canada. This person could be down the street from me. We don't know. So I want to get these posters out all over the place. And I have a dear friend, her and her mom, volunteered to print these posters for me and get them out. The Fayette County Sheriff's Office gave up. They didn't print no more. So we're going to print them, and then I can get them out to everybody. So I appreciate anybody that wants one of the posters. Just send me in my messenger or on that page that you want a poster. If you live out of state, please leave me your address and your everything so that I can get them mailed out to you guys. I appreciate it, you guys. I thank you guys tonight for watching my live feed. I hope me going to the crime scene and everything kind of answered some other people's questions that didn't understand what was going on, how close these witnesses were and stuff.
People's putting their address in the comments.
Oh, I'm just grateful. I mean, I am. I'm grateful for this. Like I said, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office owes us answers, all of us answers. And if they keep messing with me, I'm going to do another protest at the Sheriff's Annex building again. Hopefully my crowd will be a little bigger, because the bigger the crowd, the more the media shows up. And I found that out. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we want justice for Mackenzie, and we want answers. We want answers of why this case had that many errors done. Somebody owes that answer. Somebody needs to tell us the answer. And they don't need to tell me behind closed door. They need to tell the community why what happened happened. They need to answer that. Like I said, we saw one place where Vernon put in there, he didn't believe this would ever be solved.
Yep.
He made that comment. Mm-hmm. That pissed me off, because I can prove it can be solved. I can prove that this community is involved. Mm-hmm. I can prove that eventually we're going to find this guy. And this other one up here, I guess he gave up. He ain't going to talk to me. Kenny's nephew. So that's fine. I'm good with that. He wants to keep a secret of why he was up in my daughter's room. Then that's fine. Let him keep it a secret. We had a couple spies while we were down in Jeffersonville tonight. You know what? All you got to do is stop your vehicle, get out, and prove me wrong. That's why I do what I do. That's why when I was in, you ain't got to drive by real slow. Get out. Stop. You got something to say? I'm not going to hide the truth about what happened to my daughter, and I'm not going to lie to this community. So if you got something to say, you're more welcome to stop, get out of your vehicle, walk up, and prove me wrong. That's all you got to do. Prove me wrong. Just like I told the sheriff, prove me wrong. It was funny how, coming back from Jeffersonville, all these sheriff deputies were headed into Jeffersonville. I ain't never seen that many sheriff cars in Jeffersonville.
Passed one there and then one on the way.
So, they missed me. I was there for a while, but they missed me. Then we had that guy fly up in the fire station, jump out of his truck and ask me what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. And I turn around and what did I say? I'm Mackenzie's father, Donald Branham. And he said, oh, okay. And got back in his truck and pulled away. like I said, you got something to say, say it. You can prove me wrong on that I'm lying about something, prove me wrong. But pictures, documents, and live feeds does not lie. When I show witnesses' houses, you ain't gonna tell me, well, that house wasn't there in 2006. That house was blue. Don't try it, Marianne. We all know the truth. We all know the truth. I demonstrated last night exactly how I felt that, and it's her own words. Right here. Right here is her statement. And, me and my eyeballs.
Oh, your eyeballs.
I'll take the camera.
Okay.
I'll take the camera. Find that part on there, what she says about her injuries and Kenny's injury, and read it to everybody. Did you find it?
So that Kenny broke out the window. How?
Hold on, you gotta speak up.
Well, I'm just trying.
Community needs her.
I'm still trying to find it.
It's about the injuries to him and her arm.
Blanket. Okay. Kenny was burned in 2 places and had cuts all over his arm where he broke out Mackenzie's window. And all the hair on one arm, her left arm, was singed off.
Right there. Now it said Kenny was burned in 2 places and cuts all over him.
Cuts all over him.
And her left arm, the hair was singed off. But we have no photographs from the Fayette County Sheriff's Office showing Kenny with 2 burns and all these cuts. All we got on the sheriff's report is that he had a minor visible scratch. You want to call it a scratch on his hand.
But we don't know because they didn't take pictures.
And they didn't take no pictures, so we don't know if it was scabbed already over and it was 3-4 days old. We don't know. But for somebody that breaks out a window with his bare hand, and everybody's seen my window demonstrations, and I even put on a glove and glass-proof glove and arm guard and everything, he would have cut his hand all up. He would have had to go to the hospital and get stitches. But here we got 2 people that said they beat on the ceiling with a broom. They talked to Mackenzie standing on a bed through the ceiling. The other one went into where the hot spot was, where the fire was set, stood there and talked to Mackenzie. They were asleep in bed supposedly and woke up to choking on smoke and popping and crackling noises. They broke out a window, got cuts all over their arm. Arm that the hair was singed, but there ain't no documents of it. There ain't no documents of them at the hospital. There's no documents that the EMT that had my daughter in the back of it, that they treated her there, and not one witness ever saw any of these injuries. I mean, you put your hand through a glass window, and I've already showed the glass doesn't break all out into little pieces like today's window. This was an old window. And you put your hand through it, you're going to cut your arm up pretty good. And then you got to jump through that window, so you're going to have cuts everywhere else, which is what she says, Marianne says.
Cuts all over you.
But nobody, because he had no shirt on, but not one person saw one cut. Not one person saw a drop of blood. Not one person heard Kenny or Marianne and said, hey, can you give me some bandages? My boyfriend's arm's all cut up, or nothing. That's her own words. Her own words. Her own words. So, here's the deal, you guys. Fayette County Sheriff's Office, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to investigate a homicide, arson, or a murder. Number 2, Marianne and Kenny, you all set this fire. You killed my baby girl. And I'm going to say it today, my baby girl, because that is my baby girl. It ain't your child, because you didn't care about your child. You proved it. You proved it over and over and over. You did not care about Mackenzie. You cared about shoes because your feet were hurting, and you cared about clothes because you were cold, and you cared about an $800 truck, and you cared about a dog. You did not care about Mackenzie Taylor Branham. You did not care about your little girl up in that fire burning up. So, that's my daughter. That's my child. So, you killed my kid, Kenny killed my kid, and that's where I'm going to leave it. And like I said before, Mackenzie's Army is getting stronger. More people are coming into this, and we're going to get justice for Mackenzie. It's going to happen by the end of 2018, or the Fayette County Sheriff's Office at the end of 2018 better have an answer to this community why there's not enough to get an indictment and make an arrest. So I'll have my evidence. So Fayette County, you bring yours. We'll do a press conference. You show me why we don't have enough to put them away. Prove me wrong. So, as I always do, you guys, I love everybody. I'm going to play a song to finish out the life of Mackenzie, because that's what it's about. It's about Mackenzie's life. It's not about her death. It's about that she lives through every one of us. So I'm going to play a song, and I want everybody to pump hearts for my little girl, showing that you guys love her, you care about her, and that we want justice for Mackenzie.
Didn't know today would be our last, but then I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb, I can't feel anymore. Praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe. There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. Not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Always made my troubles feel so small.
Alabama, I think
You
you
were
got it.
always
That's
there
fine.
to catch me when I fall. In a world where heroes come and go,
49%.
God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on to why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm just jealous of the angel around the throne tonight.
All right, everybody. Like I said, I thank everybody that came into this tonight and everything. Like I said, you know, I worked very hard on this, and I can tell you one thing. I loved my daughter. I loved her dearly. And I can tell you one thing. The closest thing I've got to my daughter anymore is I have her hair here when she was born. This is her first haircut. And I've had this 22 years now. Because next month is her birthday. And this is her hair in this envelope after she died. And like I said, you know, I was a father. I kept everything of my children. I've got her footprints, her handprint. And the closest thing I got to my little girl is her hair when she was born. And when she was a baby, she had her first haircut. And that tells anybody a lot about what kind of a parent I am. Because I can tell you one thing, the mother don't. The mother ain't got this. So like I said, you know, it's about Mackenzie. And it's about the love that I have for my daughter. And the justice, but not only for Mackenzie, but to make sure that this never happens again to any child or any father or any mother or grandparents to go through what I've been through. I'm not saying it was easy, because it's not. I'd be lying to say this was an easy task. This is probably the hardest thing I'll ever do in my life. I can guarantee you that. And but a county forced me to have to investigate my own child's death. And I think that's wrong of them doing that to me. I had to see photographs that no father would ever want to see of their little girl. You know, your last memory wants to be your daughter, you know, growing up and how beautiful as the years go she gets, and walking her down the aisle and giving her away, and going to a father-daughter dance. You know, I never got that opportunity to do a father and daughter dance, but I can tell you one thing. Me and my daughter danced a lot in our home, and she loved to dance with me. She loved it to wrap her arms around me and me sing to her whatever song was on, and dance in our front room all the time. I mean, my little girl loved to dance. And so I got those memories by going and getting custody of my kids. I got to see 8 years of my daughter. I've got, like I said, a whole tote over here of all her poems that she wrote in school, and her name and everything. And that's why I'm fighting as hard as I am. The Fayette County Sheriff's Office don't understand what I lost. They don't understand what these people took from me. And Mackenzie knew. That's why she came to me that night, and she told me, Daddy, Mommy and her boyfriend hurt me, and I have stuck on that ever since she's told me that. And I'm a fighter. I ain't a quitter. And everybody knows the roads and the paths that I've gone down, and the stuff that's come, you know, where I've had to go to court on to stop being shut down and doing what I'm doing. And you know, I have God in my corner. Right now, that's my attorney, is God. And we're winning this. And all I can say is that my daughter was a beautiful little girl. She did a lot with kids. She had no enemies. She had no enemies. And the person that's supposed to protect her and be there for her wasn't. Instead, she saved herself, and she made sure her feet were warm, and she made sure her dog could enjoy his years with her and him, and not my little girl. So I'm gonna keep fighting, and I keep getting stronger, and it's gonna get stronger. And it ain't just me now fighting for Mackenzie, it's the world. And Mackenzie's Army, and family now and friends. And like I said, if anybody knows anything, I don't care, you know, anything that they think they know something, just send me a message. I will look into it. I will investigate it. I will go to that person. I'm not afraid to go to anybody and confront them about my daughter's death. I'm not afraid to do it. Part of me left on April 27th, 2006 at 3:30 in the morning when I was told my little girl died. And you guys as a community is filling that space that I lost. And my daughter would not want this more than anything than to have her daddy solve her own murder. I believe that. I believe Mackenzie put me in that path to do what I'm doing. She could trust me. She knew who her security was. So all I ask is for everybody to just help. And we're going to find this guy. How long it takes, I don't know. But we're going to find him. We found the other person of interest, and he became a witness. So we'll find this guy. He's out there, and we're going to find him. And this other Michael Aaron Ratliff, he don't want to talk to me, that's fine. You can play that card, that's fine. You still got to answer to somebody someday. So, I appreciate everybody. I love everybody. I want everybody to have a good night. And hopefully tomorrow will bring more. And you never know where I'm going to be to do a live feed. Next live feed could be right there at the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. Could be at Mike DeWine's office. Could be, you never know where I'm going to be doing a live feed. So keep hiding from me, because I will find you and the community will get to see exactly what's going on. I believe in this community, and I'm not going to lie to this community. If I'm wrong and I'm a liar, prove it. Come to me and prove it. Bring your evidence and prove it. Just like that mother, she said how many times over and over and over, I was a liar. I'm going to tell my story. But we've been waiting years now. Years for that story. All you want to do is take me to court and shut down Mackenzie's investigation. You want to shut down. How low can you be of a mother to shut down your daughter's investigation? How low of a mother can you be that you would even put on a court document about Mackenzie's Army? People out there trying to figure out what happened to our daughter, to my daughter, to get justice for our daughter, and you want to shut them down and add them to a document, to a court document. Shameful, as all I can say. And the biggest word of all, guilty of the fire of April 27, 2006 in the village of Jeffersonville, Ohio. You're guilty. Bottom line, you're guilty. And you will go down, hopefully by the end of 2018. So, thank you guys. I love you. Y'all be safe.